Williams Yamcam, and I teach political science courses at the University of Arkansas, Fort Smith. I'm also the chair of the UFS Democracy Project. It is my honor to play the role of the host of this solemn event, the State of the City Address. Without further ado, we're just going to go ahead and start. And if you will indulge me, I will respectfully ask for you to stand as we do the presentation of the colors, and also right after that, our Vice Mayor, Jared Rigo, will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
It is, well, you may be briefly seated. It is a distinct honor of mine to be up here trying to be a stage warmer of a sort for our illustrious mayor. The state of the city of address, just like the State of the Union address, just like the State of the State address, is just a moment in a republic, in the life of a republic, where we all take that collective pause. And for the elected official in whom that public trust was placed, to be in communion, first and foremost, with his constituents and share with them that moment, that important moment of the Republic, where he or she tries to extol, if you will, not only the virtue of the place in which they live, but also to have that moment of accountability of a sort, because it is at the heart of the Republic for an elected official to frequently, and in this instance on a yearly basis, come before the constituents and say, well, before you elected me, I pledge to you that if you were to place my trust, or your trust in me, I would do W, X, Y, and Z. Last year, I came before you. I told you that this is what we were going to do over the next 12 years, or the following 12 months, I should say. Now, this is what we did. So there's the retrospective element of it. But also, there's a prospective element as well, to say, well, now that we have accomplished what we set out to accomplish with your help and your support, this is what we pledge to do in the next 12 months. Again, it's a huge honor of mine to be up here trying to introduce this man who doesn't need any introduction in this city, that saw him Being born, he was born and bred here, and he's just so steep in the fabric of Fort Smith. He's the epitome of what Fort Smith is all about. From serving the community for many, many years, not only as a community leader, but also to answering that call to serve his constituents in the Arkansas State Legislature for 3 terms. When the call came again for him to serve, and he wasn't seeking it, his fellow constituents came to him, went to him, and asked him to serve. And he couldn't pass up that opportunity to somewhat sacrifice his retirement that he had earned for many years as a business leader. He said, I am ready. I will serve Fort Smith until the day I die. Without further ado, please let's stand and all welcome our mayor, Mayor George B. McGill.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Please be seated. Be seated. I was just in the back looking at some photographs of Fort Smith in the 1800s and 1900s and the 1920s, and I realized we've come a long, long way. Amazing. Bumped into a young lady, 5th grader, and I was reading Across America. That's the program they have every year. You read in elementary schools. And I was chatting with her, and she says, Mr. Mayor, I love Fort Smith, Arkansas. And that made my day. Again, thank all of you for being here. Dr. Yamcam, thank you for being a good advisor and counselor on politics. I'd like to thank Dr. Riley for always being there in the University of Arkansas at Fort Smith. And thank all of you who have taken the time to come out, and to all of those that are looking in virtually. We appreciate your attention just for a moment. I'd like to recognize Vice Mayor Jared Rigo, Board Member Neil Martin is also here. Our City Administrator, thank you, Carl, and Deputy Administrator Jeff Dingman are here. Thank you guys for all of the work you do. If there's any staff, police chief, fire chief, thank you guys for the amazing work you do day in and day out. And let me take a minute to say what a pleasure it is to work with the team down at City Hall. We finally got a chance to know each other, and we are getting the job done. This evening's message, or State of the City, is more about the future than about what we've done. We all know what we've done. If anybody does not know what Fort Smith has done here lately, they have not been paying attention. So what will we be in the next 5, 10, 20 years from now? In fact, we really don't know. What we do know is this, that by every important measure, such as growth in our healthcare footprint, new and innovative educational opportunities, and a rapid pace in the growth of commercial and residential development, our future is very promising. This past year has been extraordinary, and we've achieved record highs by all measures of economic development. I was with one of our major developers the other day whose family has been here for decades. And she said, George, I've never seen this kind of economic activity in my lifetime. And that is so true. Mercy alone is going to invest close to $170 million into this community. New emergency services, cancer treatment. Baptist is talking about spending $100 million. aimed at mental health and women's health. One developer alone is spending over $100 million in new residential development. Our colleges of health education are pouring $30 million into a new health and wellness research center. Plus, they're going to add a new high school. They're going to add Haas Hall, the premier high school in the state of Arkansas. Is going to be housed on that campus, braided in with 150 to 160 research scientists that will come from all over the country. That's a game changer. 300 plus students will eventually be housed on that campus, encased in that health and wellness research center. What an opportunity for our young people. The Community School of the Art is far along in putting together an amazing school for those young people that are interested in the arts, understanding what theater is, knowing how to build a set, practicing their instruments of music, singing, dancing. The new Regional Veterans Clinic will be opening its doors very soon. Matter of fact, this month. These projects have drawn nationwide attention. This is the planning for the future. And I love this town. I love downtown. The Bakery District is a community in and of itself, with the new Business Development Center, entrepreneurial spaces, and commercial and retail spaces. It's a very unique and special place here in Fort Smith. Who would have guessed that Hollywood would find its way to Fort Smith, Arkansas? A $30 million investment in movie stages, sound stages, all at Chaffee Crossing. People are seeing us and paying attention. Job opportunities will be all new. There'll be new job opportunities for people interested in working in the film industry. These are just a few of the projects that will accelerate the growth in this area. People want to be near good health care and education. They're also seeking and requesting more recreational amenities. We are making a good effort to provide them. These include new baseball and softball facilities. Pickleball is the new sport people are playing. And we have new ones on the drawing board as we speak. The new John Bell Park, which includes fun playground equipment for every child. New additions to the Parrot Island Water Park have been very, very popular. The RV park will be opening near the riverfront in the very near future. And I certainly don't want to overlook, when we're talking to people about coming to Fort Smith, talking to business, we don't ever want to overlook the outstanding youth programs that are available right in this community. We have boys and girls clubs across the city, a girls club exclusive for girls, scouting, the Lincoln Youth Center, youth leadership programs, and our youth athletic programs are some of the best you're going to find anywhere. And our programs are structured where every child has an opportunity to participate. Our educational system is a major attraction for business and industries and families. The University of Arkansas Fort Smith provides the bountiful opportunities in higher education and technical training. Our public schools and facilities are some of the best in the state. Our faith-based education, private and public charter schools expand family options all across this community. The Peak Innovation Center will supply talented students to fill positions in medical care, advanced manufacturing, and technology-related careers. Job opportunities are plentiful. All across the cities, employers are seeking help. And I want to thank the Chamber of Commerce and their large companies, their medium-sized companies, and small businesses as well, for during the COVID crisis, you put this city on your back and carried them to where we are today, and we thank all of them. You stayed the course, and you did not close your doors. There's a robust conversation about major infrastructure, projects like I-49, new bridges across the Arkansas River, slack water harbors, that will allow for expanded river transportation and freight traffic. The much needed rebuilding of Townsend Avenue is on the way. Could very well begin later this year. I hope the airline industries realize the potential for this region and bring in new services. The renovations at the airport, the addition of 1,300 feet to the airport runway, removed some barriers that we had. Its functionality was stifled by the fact that many aircraft could not get a full complement of fuel to land and take off. But now they'll be able to do that. And that's going to extend our ability to serve cities in faraway places. All of that said, we must do our jobs as the city administration, and we're going to do that. We know what our issues are, and we know the problems. We got a consent decree that we work on and try to figure out on a daily basis. On a daily basis, we're communicating by webinar, something dealing with infrastructure, wastewater, clean water, to help solve this problem. And I commend the team that spent a lot of time and energy on that. But that's not an albatross for us. We've got a great future ahead of us. Our goal is to make sure that we work seamlessly with the public, with our businesses, with our state and federal government. And let me take a moment to, again, thank the 1,000 plus members that spend their time and offer their talent to the city of Fort Smith. The quality of water we have, the amazing sanitation department. I hear stories from citizens all the time about what our sanitation workers do and how they will stop and do things that are not part of their job. Great department heads. And we are staffed by experienced and talented people. In our fire and police departments, they're well trained and some of the best you're going to find. In fact, they train other cities' firemen and policemen. When the governor came to the table and talked about what the state should be doing in the manner of policing, they called our chief of police to lead the conversation. Let's support them. Every opportunity we get, let's support them. The city does its best to make sure they have all the equipment, all the training, and all the tools they need to make sure they're providing quality service for the citizens in this region. And also, let me remind you of this. They have families, and they are our friends and neighbors from Oklahoma, from Van Buren. They come from all over this region to make this one of the best regions in the country. So we applaud them and appreciate their work. Now to the fun stuff. This Ebbing Air Base, I truly believe that Ebbing Air Base will host that Air Force foreign mission right here in Fort Smith, Arkansas. The ink is not dry yet. They've told us we are the preferred location. They do have a backup site. Our goal is that they can forget that. We want them here. And again, until the ink is dry, we must keep our focus. And I applaud Tim Allen at the Chamber. He's got his eye on this project because it is huge. And I want to assure you that Fort Smith is preparing to greet our guests from Singapore and from around the world. By June 2023, we expect to see the first squadron of 12 F-16 fighter planes touch down in our city. This mission could last for 30 years. 100 plus members of Singapore unit and 300 dependents, 825 people. Colonel Rob Ator, who is one of the governor's staff members, said, This is like a 2,000 job project. This is huge. This is like setting a Nissan plant in the middle of Fort Smith, Arkansas. This is a big deal. Return on investment, close to $1 billion per year. I want all of those new homes that they're building in Chaffee Crossing. I want all of them filled with good people who will join us in shaping this great city. Believe it or not, construction is moving back west. Met with a home builder, big project on the board that's moving back west, back toward the central part of the city. That's great news. That is great news. Arkansas Secretary of Commerce Mike Preston said, we had to convince that group from Singapore that Fort Smith was the best place for their training. He says, I don't think many people from Singapore had heard of Fort Smith, Arkansas. But we had to convince them that this was the place to go. They fell in love with what was happening education-wise, and that allowed us to ultimately win this project. People are paying attention to us and what's happening in Arkansas. And like one of my favorite artists, Bonnie Raitt, once said, let's give them something to talk about. And we have. In 2017, Fort Smith was named a trendsetter city by the Arkansas Business. 2019, we were awarded the Art Development Award by Governor H. Hutchinson. In 2020, Arkansas Business recognized Fort Smith as a trendsetter city in health and fitness. And in 2021, True West magazine named Fort Smith the best art town in the West. People are talking about us. You may not remember most of the things I've said, but just remember this. During the height of COVID, our city experienced record growth where all segments of the city contributed. Everything you mentioned tonight, the growth development, proliferation of fun things to do, kindness shown to those who need help, all of it came from the good people in Fort Smith, Arkansas, along with our neighbors who also contribute to the quality of life in this region. You know, I was thinking, sometimes I really want to celebrate when I hear all these things. But I realize until some of these things are completed, now may not be the time to celebrate. Maybe a little too soon. But we've got a celebration planned. Let's keep our focus on keeping Fort Smith beautiful. Not only keeping it clean from litter, but let's keep it a beautiful place to live for people. Let's continue to be neighborly. Let's continue to be friendly. Let's continue to lift our hands to help those in need. Important people are visiting our city. Got a meeting with the TGE, the movie company. Some of their key people are coming to town tomorrow. People are visiting our city. And they are comparing us with where they live now. People are asking the questions. Is Fort Smith better or worse than where I am? Asking the question, could I live in Fort Smith? We want them to say, yes, I can find my way to Fort Smith, Arkansas. Again, thank you for allowing me to share about Fort Smith, its progress and growth. I love this place, love to live here. Let's not forget those in the Ukraine as we prosper here in Arkansas and the United States. Let's don't forget them. I can only imagine what it would be like to be running for my life after doing nothing but trying to be free. Thank you all for being here. May God continue to bless and protect our nation, Arkansas, and Fort Smith, Arkansas, the place we call home. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Now, we would like to call upon Officer Robin Gaines and Chief Danny Baker. Officer Gaines will be receiving the Spirit of Service Award in honor of the memory of former Mayor Ray Baker. Just a little background on Officer Gaines. On October 17, 2021, he responded to an active disturbance with weapons on Tillers Avenue. When he arrived, he witnessed an adult male violently attacking a person on a sidewalk. That person would later be identified as the man's 15-year-old son. Officer Gaines gave verbal commands to the man to drop a brick he was using in the attack. At first, it appeared the man was willing to comply, but instead, he lunged forward with a knife and stabbed Officer Gaines in the neck, seriously wounding him. Officer Gaines quickly fired 2 shots from his service pistol, ending the threat. He stayed on the scene as supporting officers arrived. Unfortunately, the child the man was attacking did not survive his injuries, nor did the suspect. It was not until officers swept through the house where the 15-year-old lived that they realized the full extent of the threat that Officer Gaines had faced. The suspect had already killed a female victim inside of the home. She was later identified as the mother of his 3 children. 1 child had left the previous night, citing fears over the suspect's behavior. The youngest child was unharmed in the bedroom of the residence. Officer Gaines was rushed to a local hospital by a federal officer and underwent emergency surgery. If not for his training and instincts, as well as the rapid response of fellow officers and the amazing healthcare professionals here in the Fort Smith region, we believe more lives would have been lost that day. Officer Gaines risked his life to serve others and was forced to make a decision, a rapid one at that no police officer ever wants to make. We commend him for his actions and are grateful for his continued recovery. Officer Gaines had served our community as an officer in the Fort Smith Police Department, a fireman in the Fort Smith Fire Department, and again as an officer in the Fort Smith Police Department. Officer Gaines also serves as an ambassador and hero for our community. Let's give a round of applause to Officer Gaines.